My mind. My mind loves me, loves me not, loves me, loves me not, loves me, loves me not. I think it's very deep. So the topic is that I'm talking about is my mind loves me and my mind loves me not. So when I woke up this morning, I was thinking आज प्यार करता है कि नहीं करता है कि आज मेरा कचरा करेगा. So I said, okay, now whatever is meant to be shall be, and we should go ahead and do this discussion. I will take the story back by around 15 years when I was 30 years old. And this is 2007. I had already worked in 5 continents, and I was sitting in New York in one of the apartments. And I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, what am I doing with myself? And when I say I'm thinking, it is my mind thinking, what are you doing? You're into IT sales? Are you for real? What has happened to you? And I said, you know what? It is giving me a lot of money. Huh? And this is my internal discussion going on. It's giving you a lot of money, dude. Carry on. It took you to Australia. It took you to Singapore. It took you, you did your MBA in the UK. You did everything. And now you're making good money. Just stick with it. And the other side of my mind is telling me, really? Are you going to be vomiting out all this IT information on IT professionals through your life? Are you really going to do that? Now, this conversation was going on and on and on in my head. And then I realized, I said, no, you know what? This is not going to happen. And my mind was telling me continuously that you are made for media and entertainment. And this was going on for a few years. I said, okay, let's go ahead and take a chance. The mind started loving me. Now you're talking, dudes. Now you're talking. You're going to get into media and entertainment. Yay! Got into media and entertainment. Moved in, started working with this organization. And in 2007, startups per se were not the norm that as they are today. So it was an entertainment startup, a cinema producing company. And I started working with them. But being a startup, ha 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 ha. Surprise, surprise, surprise. There was no money. And then I realized, I said, okay, 1 month is good, 2 months are good, 3 months are good. It came on to 7 months. And it was a startup of an angle wherein the startup was being operated out of my own home because somewhere the people realized that, oh, Neeraj has money. Let's go ahead and utilize that. He's earned it so well. 7 months went by and then the mind starts hating me. Mind does not love me now. What are you doing? You have worked so hard not to spend money on other people. Go ahead, this is not happening. I said, this is a big problem, yaar. You were loving me when I made the move and now you're not loving me because I made the move. I said, okay, now what do I do? So then I bid a bye to that company. I said, tata, this is not happening. The mind started loving me again. Then moved on to another company. And somewhere while I was working with that company, I obviously, when you work for so long, you do pick up a few things. You make a few connections and whatever happened. And out of one of those connections, in 2009, I land up a project which is called I Am She, the Miss Universe India pageant alongside Sushmita Sen. The mind starts saying, good, huh? You did that because you met that lady there and now you're able to do this. Good. Mind is again loving me. I say, very good. We go ahead, we all gung-ho on this project and we work through it. And then once that project comes to an end, I realize that, you know what, this may be the environment that I'm not really, really happy about. And because, when you work very closely with a few things and all that kind of stuff, you get to know the reality a little bit. So I realized, I said, no, this is not for me because the mind is telling me, hey, listen, time to move on. This is not working out. You're not born to go ahead and listen to all this. You've done much better things. You're a Leeds MBA graduate, dude. What are you doing? And I said, okay, let's go ahead and try something else. Then one goes on and does something else and then something else. And this process goes on till 2014, where multiple times mind is loving me and the mind is not loving me. The only thing that stayed constant was that every time it'll reach a precipice or a stage where I will be, okay, it's hating me, it's loving me, it's hating me, it's loving me. The only thing I'll do is I'll take charge of it. I will tell it, you know what? You have put in so much effort. Whatsoever it is, you know it is your choice. And as in spirituality, it is said, it is your dharma, it is your swadharma, it is your alignment, it is your attitudes. So you better own up to it and go forward in the same field, because this will take you forward. So what I did was, I will take control of my mind. And I will say, okay, you know what? Maybe the project is not working out. Maybe the team is not working out. Maybe I have lapses. Maybe I have learned something. Maybe I need to unlearn something. Maybe I need to relearn something. Going ahead forward, I said, okay. So this mind control kind of started helping me move through all of these phases of the mind loves me, the mind loves me not. So the growth that came from all of that loving and hating relationship with the mind was, you need to be controlled. If I don't control you, you will start controlling me. And the moment I give you the controls, I am, as in English they say, effed up. I can't use the word here. So, so I said, okay, so let's go ahead and do this. Then kind of life took its own way, because of whatever the learnings were, the way one goes ahead and makes connections, the way one goes ahead and learns things. Rest is history. I think that is very well documented. So I won't go in there. This learning process of mind control did not start then, is what I started realizing in 2015-16, when life became a little comfortable. I said, you know what? I adapted to this time very well. How? Immediately, the mind took me back to my college days, this which was like prehistoric times for you. So I was one of those students who was loved by his professors, by his teachers. I'm a hotel management graduate. One of those students who was loved by his seniors, and one of those students who was hated by his batchmates. And I was like, what am I doing wrong, yaar? Everybody. So because I was so young, I would most of the times give in to it, saying that there is something definitely that is wrong with me, dude. Everybody in the batch hates me. But then I will take 2 steps, I'll come across a teacher or a senior, and they will come, hey, Gaba! I was like, okay, so I'm not doing something that wrong as well. Yeah? There is somebody who does love me. Now, while I was going through all of that, when you go through this kind of solitude, you start spending a lot of time with yourself. When you spend time with yourself, you have a lot of these internal interactions. All those internal interactions kind of started formalizing that path in my head, or that way in my head, that there are a few good things in me, there are a few bad things in me, maybe. Maybe I am very arrogant. Why? Because when I entered the institute, I was chosen as Mr. Fresher. Imagine the whole batch hates you and you're Mr. Fresher. Then the 3 years were going by, everybody's loving me, everybody's hating you around. Then Mr. IHM happens, which is supposed to be the most loved person for 3 years. Who's Mr. IHM? Neeraj Gaba. And I'm like, what? There is something that is right and there is something which is very, very majorly wrong. Learnings came in that there are a few things which I need to evolve on, and there are a few things which are good for me. Everything doesn't need to be good for the world. So my mind started telling me that I love you for a few things and I do not love you for a few things. What the mind does not learn me for are the things I need to evolve on. That was a good thing that the mind told me. The things that the mind loved me for were the things that started telling me, okay, you know what? This may be your aptitude. Start evolving on this. Why I shared this story was because it was these times of solitude that brought in that reflection, which started happening in 2013 and 2014. And then kind of life moved on. Coming back to 2020, Corona happened. The world is crying. Oh God, how do you live in this house alone? How we are not able to go out? We are not able to meet people. What is happening? Life has gone bonkers and blah, blah. And I'm sitting in my house, life is fine, yeah? Life used to be like this. I love living by myself. I really enjoy my company because the mind was attuned to for so many years of this reflection process. When you are reflecting with yourself, when you are talking to yourself, is when your real growth happens. There will be times when the mind will love you, and there will be times when the mind will not love you. There will be times, so the difference between mind loving you and mind not loving you is basically the difference between your desires and you deserving. There will be a lot of times when you will be desiring things, but you're not deserving. When you go and what you desire and you go for it, the mind will start loving you. But when you go for things which you do not deserve, because you don't get them, the mind will stop loving you. The mind will be like, what are you doing, dude? This was supposed to happen, it's not happening. But it's only when you have reflected is when you start realizing that, what? It was my khali mind, it was my empty mind, which they say is a devil's workshop, is only taking me on the path of desiring. It is not helping me move on to the deserving one. So when the mind is not liking you, not loving you, somewhere to the extent when you think your own mind is hating you, it is actually preparing you at times to go from the path of desiring to deserving. So start preparing to not have that kind of a fight with your mind, because this mind is very important. So like I've always said, there's this Hindi film dialogue, very famous dialogue, ये दिल भी कितना बावरा है, जितना पाता है उससे ज्यादा पाने की इच्छा रखता है. I would like to only change that one word out of it. Dil is just a very filmy word. I would like to say ये दिमाग भी कितना बावरा है, जितना पाता है उससे ज्यादा पाने की इच्छा रखता है. So make yourself deserving. The mind will keep playing these games of loving you, not loving you, loving you, not loving you. So in the end, if I had to say something, I will say, you know what? Don't mind it. Don't mind it. But mind it. Because you have to take control of that life. So if I have to go ahead and amend the topic and take the topic a little progressional today, the topic was, my mind loves me not. I will say, I will go ahead and make the next topic as, my mind obeys me not. The only thing I need to find is me, my. Thank you so much. This is Neeraj Gaba.